It's my great pleasure, and certainly at least once every 26 years, to be here to present a trophy in the name of Red Auerbach, a coach for the ages. And I hope Red is watching tonight, because he would be very proud to know that U.B. Brown is the winner of the Red Auerbach for Coach of the Year.
U.B. Brown, the NBA Coach of the Year. You saw his wife Claire watching from the stands. The Pyramid is rocking with Doug Collins and Cheryl Miller. This is Kevin Harlan. Our officials tonight: Jack Neese, Greg Willard, and Sean Corbin. The defending NBA champion San Antonio Spurs up 2 games to none. They have already beaten Memphis by 24 and by 17 points. And here's Turkoglu with Parker, also out there, Nesterovic, Duncan with the ball, and Bruce Bowen. And this is Turkoglu with the shot clock down to 5 over the defense of Mike Miller.
Kevin, the game plan early for San Antonio is to go inside to Duncan on every occasion, start the plays inside out to try to take some energy away from this Memphis team, and especially out of this crowd early in the game.
Paul Gasol with the ball, and here is Mike Miller, a former Rookie of the Year in the NBA, knocking down a 3-point shot. He's out there with Lorenzen Wright, Posey, and Jason Williams. That gives you our starting lineup, brought to you by McDonald's.
Well, that has to bring a smile to the Grizzly fans, because the three-point shooting, a big part of their team, something that was missing in San Antonio as we see Duncan off the glass. But this is what the Grizzlies want to do, Kevin. They want to rebound, push the ball, early offense, not get into a half-court game with this tough Spurs team.
Jason Williams launching another 3. Lorenzen Wright keeps it alive. The Memphis Grizzlies have lost 6 consecutive games coming into tonight. San Antonio, the 3rd seed, has won 13 straight, and a quick foul is put on Bruce Bowen of the San Antonio Spurs. Again, McDonald's brings you our lineup tonight from the Pyramid. Turkoglu, Duncan, Nesterovic, Bowen, and Parker, Posey, Gasol, Wright, Miller, and Williams. And this downside shot, Williams gets it back, another offensive rebound.
Well, that's a great sign, because they've got to manufacture points. You've got to get extra shots. Only 4 offensive rebounds in game 2, already 2 in the first 2 possessions.
Lorenzen Wright, and the rebound by Turkoglu.
They want to go inside. They do not want to take quick shots. Kevin, for people who've not seen a lot of Memphis this year, this is a team that plays 10 guys. They're high energy. They want to create turnovers. They're number 1 in steals, number 3 in turnovers. They're number 1 in shot blocking, 9th in offensive rebounds. Those are their keys. They're 6th in three-point shooting. Those are the categories they have to play well in tonight if they're going to win this game here at home.
James Posey picked up his first foul. Great pass, Duncan inside. Parker then puts it out to Bowen. And then Mike Miller dives for the loose ball. It was kicked, and they'll say a trip on the play. And a turnover.
Well, Memphis and San Antonio played from behind in both games. They do not want to do that tonight. They want to get a lead here, keep this crowd into this game, and not have to play from behind against the Spurs.
So a Turkoglu kicking for the Spurs. It goes back to Memphis, and this is Posey left open. Maybe the most valuable player on this team. Lorenzen Wright inside, cleans it up.
Well, Greg Popovich told us before the game, coming into the series, one of their biggest concerns was their offensive rebounding. Already 3 in this game here tonight, and we've only played about 3.5 minutes.
Looking for Duncan inside, another San Antonio Spurs turnover. It's the 2nd of the game against them.
When you don't shoot well, you've got to get multiple opportunities. And Lorenzen Wright, that's his 2nd offensive rebound in the period. Very aggressive, a good sign for Memphis here to start this game.
Memphis has started 2 of 6 from the field. Lorenzen Wright, who played at Memphis, and the Spurs now have their largest deficit of this short series so far. Here comes San Antonio, and 1 of 2 from the field. Bowen a three, and he led the NBA in three-point shooting a season ago.
Well, that's a problem, as you see them trying to get the ball up the floor quickly, trying to retaliate.
Bowen picks it up.
But when Parker gets in the lane, he creates three-point shooting opportunities. They've got to do a better job keeping them out of that spot right there. He's broken their defense down with a floater now, Kevin, a penetrate, a kick to Bowen. 5 quick points when he gets into that lane.
And when San Antonio tries to weather this early storm, that could tell you a lot about where this game is headed.
And their experience. You know, they know this is a long game. They want to try to diffuse this crowd. No, it's 48 minutes, not 6.
Pau Gasol.
See, I like what Hubie told us about him before the game. He said, you know what? This guy can score, he can rebound, he can block shots. Does he have some weaknesses? Yes. But we want him to bring us his best.
We go inside to Tim Duncan, the two-time MVP. Memphis is up by 3 early in rebounding in this game, and they have a 2-point lead as Jason Williams, the ex-Sacramento King, finds room on the baseline.
Well, that's a positive sign as well. 6 for 21 in the 2 games. Only 2 of 10
points and 3 rebounds. They go inside to Tim Duncan. Posey grabs the ball. Duncan has started this game 0 of 3 from the field as neither team makes a substitution out of that last break. Jason Williams, who played at Florida after beginning at Marshall.
It's just amazing, young players, when they've never been in the playoffs or having their first experience, are very young, and in their playoff careers, how important it is to play at home. Just an unbelievable difference in your confidence level.
It is an 8-0 run for the Grizzlies as Duncan again launches and finally hits on his 4th try.
Well, that's the game plan. You know, Greg Popovich told us, you know, Kevin, before the game, he said, we're going to go inside and we're not going to get hung up shooting all these threes to get started, all these quick shots. We're going to make them defend us inside, try to wear them down a little bit.
Each team has already made a 3-point shot as Miller finds Posey. The guy who's bounced around the NBA, but like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, maybe not a more valuable player.
Had him sit the whole 4th quarter. He put him back in the game with 20 seconds to go. They ran a play. He ended up with the basketball, did not take the shot. They ended up losing. And after the game, he took him into the locker room and he talked to him about what he expected from him. He said since then, that night, he's played the best basketball. He said he's playing Avery Johnson kind of basketball for us now, where he's leading, he's running the team without always looking over at me. He said that night sort of changed his personality into what he's done for their team the rest of the year.
And Avery Johnson was part of that first championship team and a guy that played so well with David Robinson, displaying the leadership. Bonzi Wells flying high, coming off the wing. And the Memphis Grizzlies lead by 10. And this is their biggest lead tonight.
You see the high percentage shots they're getting. They did not get these in San Antonio. They were shooting a lot of jump shots. They're getting points in the paint.
Parker, who has been far more aggressive, as Doug was just talking about. Here comes Duncan inside, even double teamed. He just kind of knocks them off like they're flies and puts it easily up and in.
Well, you know, when you look at Tim Duncan, you don't realize how strong he is and how big he is. He probably weighs 265 or 70 pounds. You just don't think that when you look at him.
And Gasol trying to save it and goes out of bounds. Shane Battier has come in for the first time tonight, just off the bench.
See, Robert Urey got caught on the wrong side there. Bonzi Wells recognized it and just drove the ball to the baseline. No help at all. Normally that big man for San Antonio will be over to help cut that drive off. But we've seen Bonzi get a post. We've seen him get a dunk. We've seen a fast break opportunity for them. So right now Memphis is doing a good job in all the areas they need to be good in.
Grizzlies just have their first turnover. 4, as we said before, against the Spurs. A 3 by Parker. Tony Parker hitting a 3, and he went 4 of 6 from 3-point territory. That lead at the end of 1. Let's set the lineups. Memphis out there with Watson, along with Posey, Wright, Outlaw, and Mike Miller. That is the Memphis 5. And Tim Duncan back in the game for the San Antonio Spurs. Jason Hart is coming in the game as well with Ginobili, Turkoglu for San Antonio. And Malik Rose in for the first time as Watson got it on the layup.
Now, Jason Hart is not a shooter, so you've got to do a good job of keeping him on the perimeter, and you can help off him. He's got to be the guy to make shots.
Screened by Duncan for Ginobili. And a rebound for Bo Outlaw, who gives him tremendous energy. And here comes Posey the other way. Began in Denver. And then bounced a little bit. Now here he is in Memphis. And another great acquisition by Jerry West, the general manager of this team, the president. There's Miller for a 2. And again, they've begun this second quarter the way they began the first quarter.
Well, when you make shots, the game is a lot easier. Mike Miller did not make a shot in his first playoff game, only 1 free throw. He sort of shook loose in the third quarter of game 2 with 9 points. That's really his only good quarter of his playoffs so far.
There's Jason Ard, who had a mild concussion after game 2. A kid who played at Syracuse, and a jump ball called inside. San Antonio leading this series 2-0. Here's last year's NBA Coach of the Year, Greg Popovich, and this year's Coach of the Year, Hubie Brown, honored before the game tonight.
And how about Greg Popovich? He hired Hubie last year to do 42 games for the Spurs on TV. Hubie had called him up, said, "You got any work?" He said, "Yeah, I got 42 games for you." I think Hubie only did 3 of those before he was hired to come in here and coach in Memphis. I'll give you another little sidebar about Hubie Brown. His first win here in Memphis was against me coaching in Washington. That was it. So I jump-started his career here in Memphis. I should get a piece of that trophy.
You know, I'm going to have our guys start working on that because I'd like to see that loss that you suffered. And here's a nice pickoff by Mike Miller. Memphis is on a 6-0 run to start this second quarter. There's the hustle of Bo Outlaw. And down court for Miller.
That's the Grizzlies at their best. This is exactly the way they started. The first period, Greg Popovich very upset with Jack Nees, talking to him about, I think he feels like the guys are getting fouled. Nobody's called. Felt like the man was fouled on dribble penetration and said he got a hit on the arm. But here's the throw ahead. Bo Outlaw to Mike Miller. He's off to a terrific start. Bonzi Wells is off to a great start. Memphis has got to be happy. They're upset.
The Hawks 26 years ago. Jason Williams will check back in. They join Miller, Posey, and Wright. That was the Memphis 5, and Outlaw slow to leave the floor.
I think Bo upset. He thought he got fouled at the basket, but no call, and then he gets a little touch foul down here, so he's not real happy right now as he leaves to go to the bench.
The San Antonio Spurs are shooting 54%. And here's Tim Duncan. He's got 4, 2 of 5. Shot clock at 3, and across the lane, and triple-teamed. And a 3-second violation inside the lane. And it was on Malik Rose. And that is the 8th San Antonio Spurs turnover tonight.
Well, again, you know, from Memphis' standpoint, one of the things they do is they create turnovers. And when they're steals, it's even that much better because they get out and run. This way they have to take the ball sideline out of bounds, but it's a possession lost for the Spurs.
Jason Williams has 6, and his team is shooting 63% from the field. Mike Miller.
Turkoglu holding his left.
Played at Florida. Into Bowen and outside Posey for 3. Rebound Duncan.
Hubie Brown keeps a stat with his staff, and it's deflections. And they don't always get steals, but if you can deflect passes, it's really discouraging to your opponent. They do as good a job as anybody in the league at doing that. Duncan getting very upset there. Lorenz and Wright doing a lot of pushing on the post.
Wright has been here through all the rebuilding. Nice bank shot by Duncan, who continues to complain. Plays this season. Memphis leads by 2. They've led by as many as 10. The Spurs have had a couple leads, their biggest 2 points.
Well, again, a good timeout by Hubie Brown. He wants to come out of this timeout, get something good. Team needs a basket because San Antonio, again, closing the gap. Nice little play there by Gasol coming across in the lane. That's 20 points in the paint now for the Grizzlies. Every game it's somebody different.
Pau Gasol. He's had a bad arch, and when he was injured late in the season, the Grizzlies lost a lot of their flair, a lot of their chemistry, but now he is regaining his stride, and when he regains that stride, this team is going to be dynamite.
Well, he's a good scorer. I mean, he can score, he can rebound, he can block shots. They need him.
He's got a 3 of 3 night going so far. Pulling for 3. Rebound inside, Swift out there at Gasol. Bonzi Wells, Shane Battier, Williams pushing it. And Wells has come off the bench for an effective 8 points so far. Here is Pau Gasol, Barcelona. Jason Williams for 2.
Well, he was the guy that they were hoping they would get a good game out of. 6 for 21 in the first 2 games, 2 of 10 from 3. Tonight he's done a nice job. Now he's got to do a better job on Parker defensively.
And Devin Brown with a Ori rebound and all kinds of traffic, and he secures a fresh 24-second shot clock. Parker's got 9. Turkoglu leads all. San Antonio scores with 11. Duncan can't tap it, and that's a foul. That's on Tim Duncan of San Antonio, who picks up number 2. As Memphis is creeping away and dug much more effectively in the second quarter as compared to the reaction in the first quarter. The Grizzlies have handled the little San Antonio run and jumped back on top.
Well, I like it because they're going inside. They're getting points in the paint. They're not living with jumpers, just like that right there.
Oh, strong Miles Swift rocking the rim.
When you get the ball in the lane, San Antonio's going to send a shot blocker. Offensive rebound stick by Swift. So right now, Memphis, with the size and the shot blocking of the Spurs, are attacking them on the inside. They have 24 points in the paint out of their 48. So 50% of their offense is in that painted area. I talked about offensive rebounding. You draw a shot blocker. You see what happens here now. The shot blocker goes over Ori. Nobody to block out Miles Swift. Energy, look at this building. This is what the Grizzlies have to do, Kevin. They have to keep these people so involved that they ride the crest of the energy and the emotion for 48 minutes. They can't have any lapses.
So that's what the crowd does, and you think the Grizzlies have got to just create havoc and chaos on the floor.
Don't let it be one of those games where the Spurs can come down and do what they want to do on the court. You have to see controlling the paint. Plus 24, San Antonio game 1. Plus 2 San Antonio. You see Memphis plus 12. So the three-point shooting right now by the Spurs have been negated by the ability for the Grizzlies to go inside.
Well, Memphis is now riding their third 8-0 run tonight as Parker works up on Jason Williams and Robert Ory.
Now, Kevin, finishing quarters. This is where the Spurs do it well. Let's see if they can do what they did in the first period or whether the Grizzlies can hold them off.
Yeah, in the first they finished 17-6 over Memphis. Duncan across the lane. Pretty play.
He is so good. He is, I think they're going to give him a technical. He's been upset all night long. Finally, Jack Neese hits him with a technical. You don't see Tim Duncan do a lot of complaining.
Okay, good.
And see, I like what Jack Neese is doing here, too. He's staying away from Greg Popovich. He's not even looking over there. That's what a good official will do. Don't even see anything else, because then you'll end up giving 2 or 3 technicals. The game is too big right now to get caught up in that.
Free throw shooting tonight as we watch it once again.
Let's see if he feels like he gets pushed away. I think he felt like he got hit on the left arm there on the way up. I think he felt like 2 or 3 times tonight that's happened. Now Sean Corbin is getting the wrath of Greg Popovich because he's the closest official to him.
Free throw shooting tonight. Grizzlies 4 of 5 and the San Antonio Spurs 4 of 8. Memphis tonight is shooting 63% for the game, but 71% for the quarter. Swift can't hit. And here comes Parker, who now is kind of running the offense by himself on his own accord.
Well, he's very confident now in what they need.
Ginobili for 3. One of the things you pointed out, hitting those threes, huge tonight for San Antonio.
You know what Memphis is doing? They're helping off what I call the strong side corner. On penetration to that side, they're helping off that corner. That's an easy pass out. That's about 5 of those plays. They're going to have to make an adjustment where their help is going to be coming from.
There's Jason Williams, rebound by Duncan. Speaking of threes for San Antonio, they have gone 7 of 9 to begin this game, shooting 3-point shots, hitting their last 6. And that was an easy basket inside.
Now Parker gets in the lane. You know what? He is so fast. I didn't realize he was so fast. And the more you see him, because he's one of these guys who's fast, but he's under control with the ball. You don't see him being out of control. I mean, he gets into that lane at will.
He was born in Belgium, played high school in Paris.
We're going to stop this right here as Parker starts to penetrate. Keep it going just a little bit on penetration. Okay, right there, the minute when Shane Battier goes right there, this guy is wide open. So when you help off the strong side corner on that kind of penetration, you open a wide open 3. That's happened about 5 times tonight. I think the Grizzlies are going to have to go in at halftime and decide what they want to do with that play, because Parker's turning that corner. The guy in the corner is helping. It's one pass and kick. And they've got, what, 8 threes in the game now? 7 threes?
7 of 9.
7 of 9. I mean, so that is what's keeping the Spurs in this game in the first half.
In this half, a drive inside by Pau Gasol. In a game that has contained 3 lead changes, a tie, Grizzlies have led by as many as 10.
Well, they're not living on the outside shot. I can tell you that for Memphis. That's now 26 of their 51 points in the paint.
Parker slips it into Ginobili, who's fouled by Shane Battier as the two were drifting across the lane. And that is number 2 on Battier.
Robert Horry gets a little bit of an elbow there above his eye. And Gasol goes right to the basket. Again, Duncan cannot help. He has 2 fouls, so he has to stay away from his third. Sometimes you have to give up a basket to stay in the game.
Doug, I know we've talked a lot tonight about the Memphis bench and how it has great depth. And as you take a look at its comparison tonight to the San Antonio bench.
Well, normally, that's the advantage they have. They play 10 guys, and Hubie's very confident when he goes to his bench players that they can win the battle. Not only just the battle of the energy and the toughness and those other things, but the battle of scoring. Tonight, they're up 16-10, +6. So you look at the score, that's one of the also differences in the game.
Gasol with Duncan right there. He's already been hit with the tee. Battier for 3.
Now, Shane Battier, such a terrific shooter. Very good defender, fits wonderfully in with this second unit because he's a very good team defender.
Grizzlies shooting 60%. San Antonio shooting 55% tonight. Parker again trying to slice his way inside. Perhaps Parker averaging 18 points in these 2 games tonight, a game-high 14 points.
Well, he doesn't have a 20. He used his 20, otherwise he would have taken it right now to get Duncan back in the game. There's that penetration to kick out for the 3 once again.
Horry for 3, and Wells and Memphis up by 4 with Bonzi Wells. Battier for 3. Big-time shot. Big-time shot by Shane Battier. And over the head of Turkoglu, and 3.8 seconds remaining, and Memphis will get it again.
And it wasn't touched, I don't think, so they should get it in.
Now remember, nobody leaves early. Nobody leaves early. Grabs. If you're the guy setting the screen, he grabs. Now please, you gotta come short the back. Short the back. You gotta get after him now. You just can't keep being like this, all right? Now please, you gotta get after him. That's too much. We control the whole game until the last 3 minutes. Come on.
Such great passion have led by 10. The Spurs have led by as many as 2. Turkoglu, who's hit a couple threes tonight and looked good doing it, ran off with a foul. And Jason Williams was gambling just a bit for the Grizzlies and picks up the personal foul. That's number 2. And Cheryl Miller, what do you have?
And Doug, he said the Grizzlies broke our defense down completely. It's very unusual for us to allow another team to shoot almost 60%. They were more aggressive, more physical. We simply didn't respond to the challenge, guys.
Well, we got to respond now. And Duncan across the lane, which has been kind of his move tonight. Nesterovic with the big offensive rebound back into Duncan, who is fouled on the play by Mike Miller.
Now remember, go back to that little thing at halftime we had with Hubie in the huddle. One of the things he talked about is, guys, we can't leak out. We have to rebound the basketball. That's the 9th offensive rebound of the game for the San Antonio Spurs. Now they've only converted 1 point right now off those offensive rebounds. But the Memphis, they cannot run unless you get possession of the basketball. You got to send all 5 guys to the boards to rebound before you try to run.
Mike Miller just picked up his first personal foul as Duncan fans on the free throw. Memphis already has 3 team fouls in less than 2 minutes. As you take a look at Greg Popovich, I think, Doug, he may have done a better job this year than he did last season when they won the championship and he was the NBA Coach of the Year.
Well, you think of the different pieces he had as Duncan steps up, and we know that Tim has had his moments of free throw line, but you had Turkoglu, who's a new player. You had Nesterovic, who's a new player. Ginobili started out the season as a starter, and then little by little the team started to take shape, and he had great patience.
Miller trying to get it inside for Lorenzen Wright in a turnover, and the turnovers tonight 7 for the Grizzlies and 11 for the Spurs. An acrobatic 2 inside for Tim Duncan.
What a great pass, though, by Turkoglu. Tim Duncan looked up and he just sort of pointed up at the basket, and Turkoglu gave him a great pass. I tell you, if you want to think about the moment this team changed, this Spurs team changed, it's when Turkoglu went into the starting lineup and Ginobili came off the bench. Eyes up, just how you tell a guy, throw the ball ahead. Look at the hands and the footwork of Tim Duncan. And you can see already Hubie Brown is saying, look, I got to take a timeout here because the Spurs got us a little discombobulated here to start this third period.
Down, here's Pau Gasol, who's got 8 points. Not a single Grizzly in double figures as Miller dives inside. Picked up by Nesterovic and keys it for Parker. And he'll get in the half-court game with a nice pass into Duncan. A foul called on the Memphis Grizzlies as Duncan is taking it inside. Foul is on Gasol.
Fourth team foul at the 10-minute mark, but the Spurs are the 29th worst free throw shooting team in the league.
Tim Duncan is 5 of 10, drawing a double. Parker. Nice flip out to Bowen. And Duncan volleyballs it to Nesterovic. Another offensive rebound, just what you were talking about. Here comes Parker, slashing inside, and got it to go! How in the world did he pull it off?
Well, he's got all those angles down. He kisses that ball off the glass. He's got the teardrop. Hubie Brown very upset right now with his team. They've come out with a lack of competitiveness.
Series so far, and when he plays well, the Spurs are more consistent.
Well, he gets in the lane. You can see the other night he had 27 points, and he just punished him by getting in the lane. Then if you slide underneath that screen, he steps back and hits the 3. So he's getting to be a complete player. And I like the thing about it. He's got great speed, but he doesn't play out of control. And he's learning to finish around the basket. You already see 16 points tonight, and Memphis now needs to come out of this timeout. Hubie Brown is an excellent clinician. Let's see what kind of shot that he can draw up.
One more time. Give it to me one more time.
Clinician.
Thank you. Here's Williams, Pau Gasol. Neither team makes a change during that break. The Grizzlies 0-4 this quarter. 1 turnover, 14 fouls. Spurs have started 6-0 in this third. Williams drives, and that's exactly what Memphis has got to do.
What a tough shot. You got Tim Duncan back there. Jason Williams, a right-handed player. He takes it away from Duncan and uses his left hand beautifully.
Tim Duncan, who tonight has 11 points. He is 5 of 10, 8 rebounds.
The Spurs are shooting free throws the rest of the quarter.
Right across the line. Back down the play by Posey. That's the third on him.
Let's just move by Jason Williams. As you said, he grew up in West Virginia, a high school teammate of Randy Moss. He was a quarterback, Randy Moss, a wide receiver. I'd like to have seen that high school team. The respect those two have for each other. Yesterday, after he got the coach here, he walked over, shook his hand, hugged him, and just, said, "Coach, thanks for helping making me a player." He was craving discipline. He just didn't know it. He wasn't old enough yet to understand it when he was in Sacramento. He had to go through this to learn what it was all about.
Pau Gasol got the 2 at the other end and traded for Mike Bibby, too. That was a very interesting trade. And here comes Duncan, Nesterovic, and Bowen, and Gasol right there. Looks like maybe Memphis a little bit more active on defense as Turkoglu had a challenged shot, but nailed.
Confident shot. That's why he's out there as a starter with Duncan.
Williams the other way, and picked up by Turkoglu. You can see Memphis trying to scramble things, especially on defense, and Turkoglu for 3. Good! Hedo Turkoglu is a flamethrower tonight. He's putting 16 points, and the Spurs, whose last lead was 29-28, with seconds remaining in the first quarter, come up by 1 at the 8-minute mark of the third. Gasol. And look at 3 Spurs right around him. He had no place to go, but there is a San Antonio foul. And looks like Nesterovic perhaps. No, Parker picks it up. Number 1 on him.
San Antonio will not let you isolate against them. The moment you catch the ball and stand, they're going to build a wall. They're going to build a wall of defense. You've got to pass and you've got to move. A couple times in this period, what's happened, Jason Williams is driven to the basket on a fast break. He's missed, and no one's getting back, and the Spurs are running out and getting opportunities because no one's back on defense.
Here comes Memphis, 54%. Williams fans. Good rebound by Gasol, and the Grizzlies are -5 in rebounding so far in this game. Still shooting for a high percentage of 53% now, and here's Posey playing with 3 fouls. He'll slash. and kick it. Miller for three. Rebound, Bruce Bowen. And the Spurs the other way, shooting 52%.
See, Posey's not a great half-court player. He's an open-court player, so when the game slows down, it affects he and Mike Miller the most because those guys are better when you're running. Remember when Mike Miller played for Orlando and they were firing all those threes?
Away by Posey, picked up Turkoglu, who is 5 of 6 tonight with the second to fire. Nails it again! Hedo Turkoglu coming off a 1 of 8 game 2 shooting display. Body drop for the Memphis Grizzlies. Shockingly, they're only down by 2 with 4.5 in the third.
Well, after 57.5, they have 7 points in about 5 minutes, 7 minutes.
Gasol went inside, and then Robert Horry inadvertently climbed over him in a foul. With Horry, Nesterovic, Ginobili, and Parker. Duncan on the bench, and Nesterovic caught it in mid-stride. And when Duncan was injured earlier this season, Nesterovic really blossomed, carrying that same confidence into the series.
Well, they went to more of a motion offense, and it really helped everybody on the floor. And now they're doing more motion than they did earlier in the year, even with Duncan back.
Big time hit by Stromile Swift. They had gone over 6 minutes without getting anything.
With that offensive rebound, so you get a stop. That's 17 offensive rebounds now. You got a gang rebound. 5 guys to the board right now. That every possession is critical as this clock ticks down.
San Antonio plus 14 rebounding tonight and plus 16 coming into tonight. So they have dominated the glass, and they get second chance plays like that from Tim Duncan.
Well, you know they're going to go to Duncan. It's fourth quarter time, which frees up a lot of three-point shooting. Earl Watson can really be the guy to help because Jason Hart is not going to be a guy who will make shots. Ginobili can shoot the three, Bowen can, Horry. You can help off Jason Hart. Duncan in all kinds of congestion here. Just a beautiful footwork, the up and under. He felt like he was fouled there. Already has one technical. He can't complain.
Outlaw to Lorenzen Wright. And a much-needed basket, which ties the game at 76. This is a series which San Antonio leads 2 games to none. They won game 1 by 24. They won game 2 by 17. The Spurs have led by no more than 4 in this game. They trailed by 10. Ginobili with the drive and Horry with the follow. Wing verse for the Spurs tonight. And there's the 2-time reigning MVP, Tim Duncan, with 16 points. As the Spurs have hit 8 threes and have their biggest lead tonight of 6.
Well, when you look at Memphis, they're shooting 50% from the floor. They have 19 points off of 14 turnovers. The Spurs plus 15 at the three-point line, and they have 19 offensive rebounds. That has been the killer.
Miller with the miss once. Miller with the hit in the second try. A big-time three-point shot. Now 4 of 11 three-point shooting for the Grizzlies. Miller's got 12. 8 three-point hits for the San Antonio Spurs. Those are Mike Miller's first second-half points tonight. Robert Horry, by the way, 7 offensive rebounds. Ginobili and a wide-open Jason Hart. With that free, baby, you got to fire. He does, and puts it back up by a count of 84-79.
Well, if he's going to make that shot, he can really help this team because he can defend. He's got good energy, and he's got great toughness. And if he'll make that shot, he can help them if they move on down the line in the playoffs.
Grizzlies are shooting 50% for the game. Posey with a running hook across the lane. That's the first basket he has made since the first quarter, Doug.
Well, because the game is slowed down. You said it's the first one for Miller and the first one for Posey because they're fast break players. So the game gets in a half court. Their effectiveness is cut way down.
Good point. San Antonio shooting 49% for the game as Horry trying to chisel his way inside with the foul called on Lorenzen Wright. He's tagged. Making Earl Watson for the 3rd time.
Well, look at the degree of difficulty of that shot over the outstretched arms of Tim Duncan. So James Posey worked very hard for that one. Jason Hart getting a nice hand from his teammates. He did a wonderful job. He gave Tony Parker about 4.5 minutes rest here to come in now and try to finish off this game. But a nice job.
Plus 16 rebounding for the Spurs tonight. They are plus 32 for the series on the glass.
Well, it's been the offensive rebounds tonight. That's because anytime Memphis has done a nice job in getting a stop, then San Antonio's gotten a second shot opportunity.
Turkoglu with the rare miss. He is 7 of 9. He's got a game-high 18 points along with Parker's 18 for the San Antonio Spurs, and a quick Spurs foul. And Parker The lightning quick guard. You made a comment earlier in the game. You had never seen, you said, Parker look this fast and quick on the floor.
Well, you know what? I guess when I watch him play, I don't see that kind of speed. And I see him going by everybody. I mean, he just, and it's easy. I mean, it's not like he's laboring to do it. He's just so quick and fast with the basketball.
Pau Gasol, he's got 12. And tries to glide in and he does.
Over Tim Duncan. So nice play there by.
Here comes Posey with Williams, Bonzi Wells, Lorenzen Wright, and Pau Gasol.
Anytime Memphis can, they want to run. They do not want to set up and let the Spurs defense get back. This is when the Spurs are at their best.
That's a very good point. Gives them a chance to settle on the defensive side. And Williams, an off-balance three. Rebound by Tim Duncan, and the Grizzlies tonight 4 of 12 shooting the threes. In contrast, the Spurs 8 of 17 above the arc.
Those are the kind of shots that Jason Williams used to take to get himself in trouble. That was a very low percentage shot at a very important time in the game.
They got Nesterovic finding Duncan down low, and Lorenzen Wright is leaning on him. Maybe a double from Williams. Again, banking it home. That time spinning to his left.
How about how strong he is? Duncan just got that right arm in and just sort of spun, and when he did, he froze. Lorenzen Wright couldn't move.
This game has had 5 lead changes and 5 ties. Williams for 3.
Now that was better. Now that one you're squared up on, the ball goes inside, you're in rhythm, you're stepping in. The other one he was going sideline to sideline and corkscrew to 3. That was a good shot.
Neither team impressive tonight in assist to the turnover ratio. In fact, the San Antonio Spurs 16 assists with 14 turnovers. So they have not been as efficient as you normally see this defending champion. And off of Wright, and a foul on Lorenzen Wright with 2 seconds. 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and Wright picks up number 4.
Watch Duncan's right shoulder there. He just pivots, and when he does, he just locks up Lorenzen Wright and then kisses that ball off the glass. Probably the best bank shooter in the NBA. Uses it from both sides of the glass, but especially on that other side where he can step out and bank it in.
It's Tony Parker with the shot clock at 8. Hooks it in, and Duncan with ease slams it. And Tim now with a game-high 20 points and 12 rebounds. Another double-double for
the growth of the Grizzlies right here. 3:30 to go. You're at home. Tie game, playing against the world champions. Can you find a way to make this series 2-1? This will be fun.
And turnovers, which have been a problem, not a problem tonight. Wells trying to concoct something across the lane.
Again, he's their best low-post player. Kevin, when he can square up and get down there, I thought he's a foul line and under player. When he gets out on the perimeter, I think he loses a tremendous amount of his effectiveness.
Tony Parker. And outside 3. Rebound. Another offensive board taken by Ginobili. Now they're plus 11 on the offensive glass of the Spurs tonight.
Don't leave Robert Horry. That's a guy who makes big shots.
And Ginobili sneaks in and gets Parker, Duncan, Turkoglu, and Ginobili.
See, Shane Battier's out there now to guard Robert Horry. They've gone to really a small lineup, so Shane is playing as a 4-man.
That is a turnover for the San Antonio Spurs. And that is the first turnover in this quarter for either team.
I said turnovers and free throws, close games.
Gasol, Wells, Battier, as you just talked about, Posey, and Jason Williams, the Memphis 5. Jason Williams off balance, rebound by Tim Duncan, getting his 13th. And here comes Tony Parker the other way. Nice fake by Gasol, flips it out Ginobili, and out of Robert Horry, and they want to rotate a bit and run down that shot clock.
Keep your eye on Robert Horry sliding out. He loves to make big plays.
To Tim Duncan with a sensational Robert Horry pass, and the Spurs by 1.
This is why they have Robert Horry, his big game experience. You see who's out on the floor, an experienced group of guys. Horry with Duncan.
Grizzlies shooting 51% for the game.
Now you see Duncan guarding Gasol, trying to take away his post-up.
Gasol's got 16 out of bounds, 6 seconds on the shot clock. 6 seconds on the shot clock as Jason Williams will feed to Shane Battier. Robert Ory picks up a foul. And San Antonio had 2 fouls to give.
And Shane Battier in the game now. He's playing as a power forward, and the reason he is because Robert Ory's not going to post up, so he can match up and try to take away his 3. He also has the ability to put the ball on the floor, but he's a good 3-point shooter. So basically, Hubie now has gone to a smaller lineup to allow Shane Battier to match up with Ory, so he doesn't get sucked in and give him one of those 3-point shots.
After that first foul in the last 2 minutes, here is Gasol, and Duncan is right there. Wow. Slapped away by Ory and hitting Memphis in a shot clock violation. And that's the first Grizzly turnover since the 10:41 mark of the 3rd quarter.
Well, it's a tough place to go. You're trying to let Gasol go against Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, people forget what a great defensive player he is. And first team all defense throughout his career.
60 seconds remaining and the Spurs lead by a point. Duncan. Parker. Williams is picking up Parker. And Ory tries to go down low and finding an open Ginobili. Rebound by Gasol. Williams slips. Cradles the ball, wants a timeout, and gets a timeout. Heady play by Jason Williams for the lead. Rebound by Bowen, held by Wells with 28 points. There's Gasol. With the jam. It's a 1-point game. Timeout taken by San Antonio with 4.6 to play. And Ginobili quickly hit by Williams. Feeding Miller. And for the win. And the San Antonio Spurs go up 3 games to none. Had that gone in by Mike Miller, it would have been a Memphis victory.
Well, you know, Memphis has made a lot of those shots this year.
I know they have.
And that's why Gasol did the right thing. You take that quick 2, and Miller ended up taking a shot that would have won the basketball game for him. That's why you have to manage the clock. Hubie did a great job with his team managing the clock. And Mike Miller got a pretty good look at this. A little crossover. He gets in there. Bowen does not want to foul him. That shot is right on line, just a little bit hard, or it would have been a spectacular finish for Memphis. It was a grinded out, workmanlike performance by the San Antonio Spurs.